Africa was an explosion of sound and color. A long and exhausting ride across the world's biggest desert. A mix of joy and struggle. A challenge. But let's start from the beginning. The plan was simple, to hitchhike along the western coast of Africa through Senegal, Mauritania, Western Sahara and finally Morocco. We had 4 weeks to get to Europe, so what could go wrong? So Dan is repacking because we are going to Senegal today. Senegal! And unfortunately we're flying.
Yeah. But well.
Oh well. In Senegal, we stayed in the outskirts of Dakar, where Khalil and his family offered to host us for a couple nights. We arrived in the middle of Ramadan and decided to try fasting, to show respect for the people of Western Africa, but also to see if it actually is as hard as it seems. Are you excited, Dan?
I'm very excited.
When's the last time you ate?
Yesterday?
Yesterday?
Evening. No, not even evening.
Oh yeah, before we took the flight, right?
What did we eat? Yeah,
I don't know, like maybe snacks?
Yeah.
We ate breakfast? Did we eat breakfast? We woke up at the beach.
We had the pizza.
Yeah, we had the pizza. Okay, okay.
It's like more than 24 hours ago.
Yeah, that was like, I don't know, 4 p.m?
Yeah.
Maybe 5 p.m?
So it's like 30 hours almost.
So we have some veggies here. We have some spreads. We have bread.
Bread is something
and we
very
have some
precious.
things from the bakery. Sweet things.
And a cooked mango.
And cooked mango. Oh, I am beyond excited.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the star of the evening, the competition between the two most magic powders. Forget cocaine, I give you aromat.
It's amazing that we have
And right up next to it, sal de ajo, the polvo mágico.
It's like the Spanish competitor.
We quickly discovered that we have some communication problems. I didn't speak a word of French, but even Dan, basically fluent, was having trouble understanding the mix of Wolof and African accents. I am so overwhelmed right now. To me, Africa was a beautiful but overwhelming culture shock. And it seemed as if Dan and I were the only two white people in the car. Never in my life have I felt so foreign. I was born and raised in Poland, which automatically granted me the biggest advantage of all, a European passport. Just like that, I was given the right to cross the borders of 176 countries as I please. A right I only began to appreciate. With little to no stress, I managed to travel to 38 countries, always flooded with overwhelming kindness and open doors, no matter where I'd end up. Never having to face racism or hide my sexual orientation. So, I want to recognize how incredibly lucky I am to be able to travel this way. Today, the overwhelming majority can only dream of this kind of freedom. It's the harsh reality. We're all given cards we can't exchange, and the only way to beat the game is to look at the people behind them. Ramadan is a time of sharing for the Muslims. It's a common tradition of wealthier families to prepare food for the entire neighborhoods, meeting out on the streets at sunset. Khalil's mother encouraged me to help. And all of a sudden I was there, passing around dates and cups of coffee to anyone I could see. I was foreign to their language, their religion, their culture. But it was a moment of clear unity. No explanation needed. On the 1st of June, we started hitchhiking north.
How bad do I look?
The hardest thing must have been explaining to people what hitchhiking is. The concept of getting a free ride seemed to be rather outrageous to most locals. Rightfully so. For us, however, it was a matter of principle. So we tried our best not to offend anybody, and sometimes we had to wait a little bit longer. But I have to admit, it was going pretty well.
Ma bateau est bon.
Oui, c'est vraiment beau votre bateau. J'ai jamais vu une volière. Et après, on a pris un bateau de volière pour aller à Cap-Vert.
Ouais.
Et on a cherché un autre bateau pour aller ici, mais c'est difficile. Il n'y a pas beaucoup de bateaux.
Ouais.
Et comme ça, on a pris une vol.
Un vol, oui.
Un vol, et nous sommes arrivés.
Oui, Cap-Vert, c'est difficile pour venir au...
Tu es déjà allé à Cap-Vert?
Non.
C'est vraiment beau.
C'est très joli.
Oui.
Moi, ma maman, elle est originaire de Cap-Vert.
Lucky for us, Hassan, the local gendarme, was about to visit his third wife in Saint Louis. He brought us all the way to the north of Senegal. I was thankful to have Dan as my translator because Hassan had all kinds of interesting facts and personal stories for us. He also got a baobab fruit for us to try.
C'est très pour donner la force. Et puis on fait des jus et tout.
On peut essayer ça? On peut manger comme ça?
Ah bien sûr. Vous pouvez manger comme ça. Vous pouvez manger. Mais c'est juste pour vous sucer.
Sucer?
Voilà.
Ah, là, tu le sacs.
Ah, ok.
Voilà.
Wow, merci beaucoup.
J'ai à peu près 50 personnes
Qui travaillent dans le
qui
mini?
travaillent entre la ferme
Et le mini-market.
et le mini-market,
50.
tout 50 personnes.
Ah, c'est aussi beaucoup de travail pour l'administration, non? Tu as aussi
Ouais.
une personne qui fait l'administration et...
Et voilà, et tout, voilà, tout
Oui.
ça là, tu es obligé de...
So 50 people work for him.
Just in the mini market?
No,
Oh,
all
in
together,
total.
all together. Wow.
Hassan was the perfect example of the Senegalese teranga, which is a Wolof name for hospitality. He invited us into his home, where his wife prepared a delicious meal for everyone after sunset. And in the morning, we got a chance to visit a tiny local Quran school. The teacher there surprised me speaking Polish, having spent 11 years in Prague.
Paris! Okay, yeah, it's good. Amazing. Great.
Back on the way, our spirits were up and we had an early start. We caught a ride out of the city of Saint Louis. We chose to cross the border in Diama, as it seemed to have less traffic and hopefully less bureaucracy.
Behind us is Senegal. In front of us is Mauritania. Ta-da!
Right then, we got the best ride ever. The back of a truck. We were driving through a natural reserve of Diama, so we got to see all kinds of animals crossing the road behind us. It was basically a free safari. Quite a bumpy one. After walking for 4 kilometers, looking out for scorpions and sand snakes, we got to a perfect beach. The Mauritanian coast is a long stretch of white beaches with an occasional fisherman village. It's a surfing paradise, but it's also Western Africa's landfill. Looking around our perfectly deserted beach with bits and pieces of colorful plastic sticking out from under the sand, I couldn't help but wonder, how is it that in such a pure, untouched place, the garbage managed to overtake the territory? Africa made me face the harsh reality more than once, realize the bitter truth about my privilege and status, feel the love and hospitality of complete strangers, admit the weakness of my own body. It was the 5th day of fasting for me, and I was slowly accepting my defeat. We decided to have a rest day at the beach, and I spent most of it trying to sleep through the 40-degree heat. When I woke up, Dan was doing taxes.
Dan is doing taxes on the beach in Mauritania. Why not? Pourquoi no?
We'd already made over 600 kilometers along the coast, but there was still more to hitchhike.
I got it.
Next morning, we set out again for what was about to be our hardest day yet, starting with Nouakchott, the chaotic capital of Mauritania. From all the goats, bikes and people, we got rescued by Sheikh and Mohammed, who drove us the wrong way and back for nearly 2 hours. But at least they definitely lifted our spirits.
Nice. You have WhatsApp, no?
من الثمرات رزقا لكم فلا تجعلوا لله أندادا وأنتم تعلمون.
After that, we got extremely lucky and caught a ride straight to Nouadhibou. My body officially gave up and I went into a coma on the back seat, while Dan paid the price for the ride. He was stuck answering interrogatory questions about our fictional relationship and religion. We were very thankful to Sidi for driving us all that way, but it seemed he'd made it his personal purpose to convert us to Islam. Nice try, buddy. Through the windows, we caught a glimpse of the famous iron ore train sprinting out of the setting sun. Our original plan was to hop the train in Nouadhibou, but honestly, we were just not able to. Physically, we were absolutely drained. I didn't even manage to eat because I fell asleep right after pitching my tent. And that was the last day of my fasting experiment. I have to say, in 40-degree heat, with being only able to eat 1 meal per day, it was just not reasonable. Another problem was we were too tired to pick a good spot for camping, so we just hid from the road and apparently we set up camp in the sketchiest side of Nouadhibou. Thankfully, we were about to be rescued.